Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, over the weekend, she is, I guess she is really showing her true self that she really doesn't believe in Jesus. Okay, Kamala Harris is showing that she is the Antichrist. Okay. She displayed that in a rally over the weekend. And then on Sunday, she decided to go up and, I guess, preach a sermon at one of these black churches. Okay. So we'll talk about more about that. Also, who took the spotlight on the media this over the weekend was Donald Trump. He is the clear winner of actually trolling, I guess if you want to call it trolling Kamala Harris, or if you just want to call it, hey, Donald Trump is just a beast in the media. He knows how to take control to be the main person that they're talking about in the media, good or bad or indifferent. It was Donald Trump because he decided to pull up at McDonald's and start serving people. Okay, serving people in Pennsylvania. And some of the mainstream media said it was a hoax and he didn't look well, blah, blah, blah. You know how the mainstream media tried to take all the good out and make it bad because it has something to do with Donald Trump. But clearly people loved it. Okay. There were thousands of people around at McDonald's when he showed up, and people were totally in shock when they were served their meal from Donald Trump in the drive-thru. So we'll talk more about that. And then we have Laura Trump. She visited the Breakfast Club. I don't know if it was earlier today or Friday, but we have that to view. She kind of schooled Charlemagne. I wish Charlemagne would stop talking about politics and policies that he has no idea about. He has no clue about. I think that's why the Democrats are suffering, because they got these multimillionaires trying to find what people, actually normal day people, are actually concerned about. And they're picking people like Charlemagne, Chrissy Teigen, what's the girl that, the other actress, Lizzo. She's flying on her private jet to campaign for Kamala. All these people that don't live normal day lives, you know. So anyway, we're going to get into it. So we're going to get into that, and you guys stay tuned for this episode. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can't miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Something like this. Again, put in the chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. I see we have Noble Young in the building. What is good? Justin Thompson. Good afternoon, everyone. It's always great to see you. We have Celeste Hodges in the building. Good afternoon from Texas. Enjoyed your morning show. Thank you, Celeste, for tuning in. Justin was in the building as well. If you guys are not aware of my morning show, it's called Unpopular Opinion Podcast, which is on my other channel, Chawanne Burns 2.0. And I have a co-host, super producer, and we talk about trending topics. Sometimes we talk about politics, but most of it is trending topics and politics combined. All depends on what's going on. So that show starts at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So really appreciate if you guys tune into that show. Celeste Hodges is saying she was awful. Yeah, I believe you're referring to Kamala Harris, and she is. She's an awful person. And I think she's trying to win back the Christian crowd, but no, you too late. You did some dirty stuff on Friday, you and Gretchen Whitmer. You're making light of the Christian faith, the Catholic faith, and people. I mean, it's one thing that okay, you're not a Christian. I'm not for sure, but to mock that person's faith, it's really like a slap in the face, and you're actually asking these people to vote for you. Okay. I don't know how any person could call themselves a Christian or believe in God and vote for Kamala. I don't know. I don't know what, because not even Kamala, just vote for the Democratic Party, period, because their values and morals does not align up with if you're talking about the Bible, or even if you're Muslim, Quran. It doesn't align with your values. No, it goes everything against your values and your morals. Anyway, EV Ray, greetings. Hit the like button. Thank you. Please hit the like button. Rihanna is in the building. Thank you for tuning in. Evie is saying, you mean Charlemagne the Zesty. Charlemagne the Zesty, yeah. Early voting starts today in Florida. Trump 2024. Christ is Lord. Thank you, Rihanna. Christ is Lord. I don't know why people are offended by that statement. Claire Butterfield, President Trump. Yes. Great work, Chawanne. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, and I see we have Bob Long in the building. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'm not going to keep you let's start with our first story, and that's your girl Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris thought it would be okay to say, hey, you're at the wrong rally, because someone that came to her rally, they shouted out, I think she was talking about abortion at this point in time, and they shouted out, Jesus is Lord. And so she decided, oh, you're at the wrong rally. You need to go to that rally, well, the smaller one down the street. What do you mean? What do you mean, Kamala? Now, if she was truly hey, I grew up in the church. I don't attend church as often as I should now as an adult, but I grew up in the church, and we were in church Sunday through Saturday. Sunday through Sunday. Let me say, we went to church all the time. If somebody said Jesus is Lord to me, I'm not going to say, oh, you at the wrong rally. I'm going to be like, amen. Jesus is Lord all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to deny my Jesus. Come on now. What devil denies Jesus Christ? That's why I say Kamala Harris, remember, she was on the Breakfast Club. She gave a town hall meeting with Charlemagne, which is a smack in the face. She was in Detroit. They didn't invite anybody that was from Detroit. We have plenty of Detroit commentators that she could have invited to question her. She didn't know. She invited her goon, and I guess her paid shield, Charlemagne the God. And she said, oh, I grew up in the church on 2nd Street in, what was that street? 2nd Street and 24th Avenue in Oakland, California. In San Francisco, my pastor's name is such and such. No. We know you don't read the Bible. We know you don't believe in Jesus Christ, because nobody will have that same response. Nobody would respond in that way when they hear Jesus is Lord. Like they're allergic to the name Jesus. You guys, this is your girl.
With the intention that they would,
you guys put it in the chat. Let me know if you could hear this video.
Undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
All these baby serial killers in the audience. Yeah, I said it. Baby serial killers. And they saying, oh yeah, tell them, Kamala, because we don't believe in Jesus here. This is why America is what it is. because we got a bunch of silly women that don't want to do what God designed them to do, is to have babies. You got a uterus. You have your monthly menstrual cycle every month, but you just want to have, do the bump the uglies without any responsibilities. And when somebody say Jesus is Lord, you act like you're the Satanist, the devil. And she up there smiling like, it's not funny. It's actually abhorrent and disgusting. Now, any Christian people that's in my chat commenting saying, "Oh, you can't. What about Donald Trump? Donald Trump is not denying Christ." Okay, so this what happened over the weekend. This girl denying, disparaged our Lord Savior Jesus Christ, mocking Jesus Christ, and then you decided to let me pause this right quick. And then you decided to not only that, you didn't show up for that Catholic dinner, the Catholic fundraiser, and then I guess you didn't want to get roasted on. I guess that's because you're afraid. You're afraid to get roasted. And you really don't like Catholics. You don't like Christ. You don't like Jesus. You guys put it in the chat. Do you think Catholics, Kamala is a Jesus lover? Do you think Kamala is a Jesus lover? I'm finna go to my profile. I could say no. I posed this question a long time ago on my X account. If you're not following me on X, follow me. It's Chawanne B on X. I posed this question. I said, has anyone asked if Kamala Harris is a Christian? Because I said she might worship the devil. I asked this a long time ago. Let me see if I can find it. A long time ago, I said, has anyone asked Kamala Harris, was she a Christian? Because she might worship the devil. Quick now, we can't just say we just got Christians voting in the race. We can't say that, but we know this nation was founded on, what do we say, Christian values. That's why we have "in God we trust" on our money. When did I ask that? I think it was about maybe a month or two ago. And I am not surprised by her remark, okay? I'm just trying to see if I can find it. It must have been a long time ago. Because September the 8th, random thought. Now I'm going to repost this. Random thought. Has anyone ever asked Kamala Harris her religion? We should not assume that she is Christian because she might worship Satan. I was laughing about it. Then I reposted it on October the 3rd, responding back to Cat Turd. I don't know what the post was about. I'm actually starting to believe that Kamala Harris is the Antichrist. I'm finna take a screenshot and tag Kamala Harris is the Antichrist. These are people's thoughts long time ago, okay? At least that was one of my thoughts. It was just a random thought. Because I can't see how a person is this so dishonest and you say you believe in Jesus Christ, that is so gun-ho about abortion, and you say you believe in Jesus Christ. You said you are a Christian, or one of Christian faith. This goes back to, hey, Kamala Harris wasn't raised by no black people. She was raised by Indian. They're Hindu. I'm not familiar with the Hindu religion, but I'm assuming that, maybe they have some different beliefs. I don't believe they believe in Christ or whatever. But, you guys put it in the chat. I'm not familiar with Hindu. Okay, put in in the chat. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's a Republican and he's Hindu, but he don't seem like he the devil. But Kamala Harris, I can't say that. Okay, so we had this. And let me just show you Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know what I was watching, but she thought it was, I guess it would be a funny idea to act like she gave a person a chip, and the girl that she gave the chip to was on her knees. And they said it was supposed to be part of this challenge, like you feeding somebody challenge. And normally on that feed challenge on TikTok, they don't show the person that's given the chip. They just have a close-up shot that a person is being all sensual with, they're taking the piece of food in their mouth and they're being sensual. And then they screen it to the person that's actually given the food and they're looking cringe. That's not what they was trying to portray. They was portraying that this woman was kneeling down on her knees like she was taking a communion. And, to me, it's pretty sad when you have a group of women that's so gun-ho about not carrying babies, and they want people to end their babies' lives, and you go around campaigning reproductive health like it's a thing. Abortion is like something to be proud of. And she, you know what? She took it down. She don't even have it on here. You're going around like it's okay for you to actually end a baby life, and it's not the norm. So we really gotta question, like, who are we actually trying to elect in our White House? What type of debauchery is this? Gretchen. I don't know if they still got it up. Dorito. And she had to apologize. So she took it down. Gretchen Whitmer apologized. I don't know if this is going to play, you guys.
Yes, the mask law.
You guys let me know if you can hear this video.
Gretchen is leaving Americans retching. Our video of the day comes from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. That's her on the left. She recently appeared in a bizarre Instagram post with a feminist influencer. And apparently it's supposed to make you want to vote for Kamala Harris. Roll it.
Love you, all I do. Need, no matter what I do.
Tell you what, I wouldn't pull that stunt on The View. You could lose an arm. Yeah. You know, Emily, I don't know much about this video because, you know, I'm mailing it in on a Friday. But I guess they're spoofing a TikTok meme where friends feed each other and stare into the camera. But many people see it as a perverted homage to the Holy Communion as a person of faith. How does this make you feel?
Yeah, that criticism is totally founded and legitimate. I found this revolting in just many ways, like obviously just visually. But the irony to me is that think of this was supposed to help somehow Vice President Harris and Walz's campaign, right? And the irony is that Whitmer could have actually made strides in Michigan, where, by the way, right now Trump is resoundingly beating Harris in the polls by 3 points, which seems like not a lot, but compared to 4 years ago, it's massive. And this is what they think is going to help? A self-labeled feminist influencer? What the is that? First of all, if you are in any way a feminist, then you would actually have nothing to do with that disgusting party that only is interested in eradicating female babies and
eradicating female babies and eradicating the female class. She's absolutely right. The transgenderism movement, they are trying to replace women with just, hey, I got a wig on, I'm gonna be a woman. So she's absolutely right. Feminine movement that went far left is far gone. I'm not going to play this whole clip if you guys want to watch it. This is Greg Gutfeld on Gretchen Whitmer is leaving Americans retching with bizarre posts. And like I said, she had to go back and apologize for this post. For making a mockery, and they're saying it's showing Whitmer Doritos communion shows dangers of being too online, because and I was listening to a priest prior to me getting online, and he was saying we're tired of being mocked and being the brunt of the jokes, being sidelined or acting like the Christian community or the Catholic community is a danger to society. And clearly, they've gone way too far with these jokes. It's not funny anymore. And then you want to say, hey, vote for us. And you know, Catholics overwhelmingly vote for Democrats. But I don't think that's going to change. I think that's going to change because then you have Kamala, instead of coming to the Al Smith dinner, she decided, hey, she wants to send a message, and it was really cringe. I'm not for sure. I guess it was supposed to have been funny, but it wasn't really funny. I thought it was like kind of horrible. You guys put it in chat. Let me know if you can see this
and distinguished guests
or hear this.
The Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Gallagher. Mary Catherine Gallagher. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I simmer them like that. But that's gross.
So tell me something. I'm giving a speech. Do you have some thoughts about what I might say tonight?
My feelings about what you should say tonight would be best expressed in a monologue from one of my favorite made-for-TV series.
Okay, let's hear it.
Don't you see, man? We need a woman to represent us. A woman brings more heart, more compassion. And think how smart she must be to become a top contender in a field dominated by men. It's time for a woman, bro. And with this woman, we can fly.
What series was that from?
Oh, that's from House of Dragons, now streaming on HBO Max.
Is there anything that you think that maybe I shouldn't bring up tonight?
Well, don't lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness to thy neighbor.
Indeed, especially thy neighbor's election results.
Just so you know, there will be a fact checker there tonight.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
Does it bother you that that Trump guy insults you all the time? Because it really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember you should never let anyone tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
Haters gonna hate, hate, hate. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. Good for you, Mary Catherine.
Oh, yeah, okay. And also remember one more thing. Don't worry if you make a mistake, because Catholic people are very forgiving. Yeah, and also, one last thing I want to tell you, don't forget to say, superstar!
Thank you, Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Mamala.
Thank you. Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith Dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship and come together to do some good by supporting the tremendous charitable work of the Catholic Church. The Church cares for the sick and feeds the hungry, supports families with housing and education, and in times of disaster provides not only essential supplies, but also, and so importantly, a sense of hope. The Gospel of Luke tells us that faith has the power to shine a light on those living in darkness and to guide our feet in the path of peace. In the spirit of tonight's dinner, let us recommit to reaching across divides to seek understanding and common ground. And in honor of the great Al Smith, let us fight to build a better future with faith in God, our country, and in each other. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States.
So she sent this video into the Al Smith dinner, and you're saying that this is the purpose of the dinner, and you decided not to show up to the dinner. And they said never in history, and I guess a running person, I guess a running candidate, has ever missed this dinner. Okay, so she's just breaking the norms. And, you know, I think this is actually sealing the deal. Week after week, Kamala Harris is having bad situations. And week after week, you see mainstream media is trying to make excuses for her. Okay? They're trying to make excuses for her, and she's trying to come back. So on her flubs or her flops, we could truly say, I believe Kamala Harris does not believe in Jesus Christ. She can't. You can't be a person that loves Jesus Christ and you act like you get mad or try to get a zinger out when a person shouts out Jesus is Lord. You can't truly actually love a person. And it was rude and assaulting or insulting. This thing that I'm showing you. Oops, this is the wrong one. Share this one. Now, so Kamala Harris is desperate again. Now she's trying to make a comeback. Now, so this Sunday, yesterday, she decided to make an appearance at the church. This was a Baptist church in Georgia. This is the same person who kicked out Americans at her rally for yelling Jesus is Lord. I need for us black folks to stop doing this. We need. This woman is saying you need to go down to the rally for just saying Jesus is Lord. You don't belong here. You belong at another rally. And then we accept her, got our Sunday best on, singing, praising Jesus, and she's walking in with the pastors and the first ladies. Kamala ain't never been to church. She ain't even clapping on B. You ain't never been to no black church. So why you lying, Kamala? Let's go back to here. Let's go back. Look at Kamala. Kamala trying to find the beat. Come on now. Kamala can't find the beat, and we saying that we want her to be the president. And no joke, all jokes aside, I think it's actually disgusting that Kamala now she's trying to, I think she's trying to hang on to the black Christian vote, but you just lost the Catholic vote. You just lost the Christian vote, because you're trying to make fun or make a mockery of a person saying Jesus is Lord. I mean, there's no coming back for that. We tend to forgive, but we won't forget. This is how you really feel. You showed your true self. And it's so what am I getting at? You could fool us for so long, and it's hard to keep yourself in disguise. You only could do that or keep that up for so long. And I guess this 90-day, when did she get nominated? Back in August. This 90 days was too long. You couldn't keep up the fakeness. Let me get to some of your comments. Gretchen Whitmer has so much poison and plastic in her face. Yeah, she looks scary. J. Lord, these people are cultural Marxists. Yes, they are. Walls and Keith Ellison, Marxists, hid the evidence that proved Derek Chauvin didn't kill George Floyd. And your sentence cut off. I don't know what you was about to say. Celeste Hodges, is uncomfortable to watch. I didn't get the joke. I didn't get the joke either. I don't even think it was funny. It was just kind of real cringy, like weird. Evie is saying they can joke, but you bet not joke them. This was trash. Transhumanism. We have been way too accepting, exactly. And she knows Trump is always a hit at that dinner, and he was like exceptionally funny. But Trump, he knows how to work a room and work a crowd. He's just a funny guy, and he's real witty. He thinks on his toes. I'm pretty sure his jokes, I believe all his jokes was written for him, but he's able to deliver them a great punchline. Outcast, so cringy. I don't agree having a woman running for America, and I'm a woman. Yeah, I mentioned that before. I know it's kind of unpopular. I think we'll make great CEOs or whatever, but America as the United States president, I don't agree with it. I think it's too many other outside factors that we have to worry about on the world stage that, other countries take us as a joke, let alone you being a woman. A lot of countries don't even respect women. So, and we're trying to negotiate peace deals and all that stuff. I just don't think we'll be respected. Walter Mondale missed and lost big in '84. Yeah. I was in high school when that happened. She was on Roland Martin promising black people everything yesterday, and with Al Sharpton. Yeah, I didn't even, I know it's all this pandering to Kamala. I don't know why we do it. You're going to see not Kamala, but Lord Trump. We're going to view that video on what was that? The Breakfast Club. I don't know why that slipped my mind. You're going to see Lord Trump on the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne was kind of, firing questions at him, at Laura. And it's like, you didn't get that much smoke to Kamala Harris. And some of the stuff. Matter of fact, he didn't bring about changing the sex change, making that available for prisoners and illegal immigrants. Taxpayer funded sex change. He didn't bring that up. He didn't bring any of the nonsense up about her. Well, actually he did, but he didn't give her any pushback. Her locking people up for weed and keeping them in jail longer than their prison sentences. He didn't bring none of that up. So it's like a lot of stuff that he gave Laura a pushback on Donald Trump, but you're not giving pushback to Kamala Harris. And it's total, you could tell he's a Democrat shill. Charlemagne is a Democrat shill. Somebody is saying, I don't know how to pronounce your name, LeBron. I believe that's how you pronounce. Women in pants in the choir, Deuteronomy 22:5. The woman shall not wear that which pertains to the man, neither shall the man put on a woman's garment. All that so do are an abomination. I think people are living by the New Testimony, so I'm not for sure. I know we didn't wear pants in church. That's one thing, but we did wear pants out of church. So, and matter of fact, my first pair of pants, I think I was 14, 15, because I grew up in a sanctified, what you call sanctified church. I don't think it's gonna stop you from getting into in heaven, but you should be respectful. The stuff that they wear now is a little bit different. Anthony Hood, what up, though? Shout out to the 313ers. Lions took another win. I think we're in first in our division right now. We took the lead because we beat Minnesota yesterday. So what up, though, to all the Detroiters in the building. J. Lord, the fall of Minneapolis on YouTube about walls. Okay, I'll make sure I watch that. Maybe I'll do a review on that. Randy Smith, based on your statement, it appears that you don't respect women as well. Randy, I do respect women. I was raised by a woman, so why wouldn't I respect women? Based on my statement, I just think women are too emotional in our response. I don't think we think pragmatic of things. So, and I'm just being realistic, Randy. You got to be realistic. Everybody doesn't have your viewpoint. Everybody doesn't have the luxury and the freedoms of the United States of America. That's why we're the greatest country in the world. So based off my statement is based off of, hey, looking at it realistically. You got to be realistic. Not, oh, I feel. See, you with the Randy, I'm assuming you with the feelings. Oh, I feel. Randy, no. It's not just, you got to get rid of the estrogen. It's not based off how you feel. It's based off what you know and what you've seen, based off of past behaviors. And based off of past behaviors, and we're talking about other countries, we know it's not a good thing for a woman to be president. You could like it and don't like it. You could go off of feelings. That's not going to pay bills. It's not going to stop wars because you feel good or you love everybody. And apparently Kamala Harris don't love everybody. She just kicked out somebody because they said Jesus is Lord. That's really crazy. Anyway, I spent too much time on you, Randy Smith. I'm moving forward. And Randy is a troll. You don't even know what you're talking about, Randy. So yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on Randy. He just talking. Cornelius, Randy, she's very respectful, and I agree. Women doesn't need to be presidents too emotional. I am a woman. Thank you, Celeste. Two emotionals, and we could tell Randy, and not to pick with you, Randy. You're basing off you're giving me emotional response. I could just tell by the way you clicking on that keyboard. You're giving me an emotional response. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you what it is based off observation and what the world is now. Hey, what the world is now, that based off observation, you could tell. Look, listen. And I didn't pose this question. This question was posed by Brett Baer. Or no, not Brett Baer. She gave an interview. Kamala Harris gave an interview, an ABC interview, a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about the Prime Minister of Israel, and they were trying to negotiate a ceasefire, and he mentioned, hey, he seems like he's not listening. If you're weak, the prime minister is not going to listen to Joe Biden. The prime minister is not listening to Kamala Harris. You're a weak person. Kamala Harris is so afraid to stand on her issues. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is like, you're afraid to stand on, what was the question? He asked her, would you follow? No, he asked her, do you believe, and I'm saying Brett Baer, do you believe that illegal immigrants have a right to education, have a right to, to get insurance, have all these rights that citizens have, like our American citizens? And she said, oh, I should, do you believe in the open border policy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I will follow the rule of the law. What does that mean, Kamala? And then he brought up Tim Walz. Well, Tim Walz, he just signed in his state where all, they could get a voter ID, a photo ID, which will allow them to vote. And they can have all these benefits that is afforded to Americans, like they're American citizens, like they're taxpayer citizens. Oh, once again, I will follow the rule of the law. No, Kamala. This is my problem with Kamala. Number one, you're fake. And number two, you're afraid to stand on what you believe. If you believe, I believe that every person that comes on or comes into America illegal and legal, they should have all the things that is afforded to them like an American citizen. You believe that. Why don't you just say it out loud? Because it's too radical. It's too radical. And one thing, when you say that I can't stand on what I believe, that means you're a coward. You're afraid. And we can't have people like that. You're afraid to say what you're feeling only because you know it's going to cost you the presidency. Because people ain't with that. That's socialism and communism and Marxism. Shout out to Lean Terrace. Everlean Terrace is tuning in for Twitch. Okay. So shout out to everybody that's viewing. Deacon, it says the Bible speaks about women in church, not the fake human made office. Okay. Anyway. We're moving forward. Now, Donald Trump, he did steal the show as far as media is concerned, okay? Donald Trump came through. He was like, I just got to be real. This is why people love Donald Trump, because he's just a real person. He's not fake, Okay, he ain't gonna lie to you telling you that he grew up middle class, because he didn't. He didn't grow up middle class, but he's gonna tell you, hey, he cares, and you could tell he visibly cares about the American people. He pulled up at McDonald's yesterday and started serving food. Okay,
Get her some fries?
and he was handing out foods to the customer. He called the news media fake news, stuff that Donald Trump does.
It's Kamala's birthday?
She's turning
60 years old?
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, I would say happy birthday, Kamala. She's turning 60.
Did you get her some fries?
I think I'll get her some flowers.
Why not to beat her
Maybe
again?
I'll get her some fries. You're right, that might be. I'll give her some McDonald's. I'll get her a McDonald's hamburger.
Thank you.
No, it is her birthday. It is true, right?
I saw
Happy
that
birthday,
60
Kamala. Happy birthday.
Why
See
not
you
to
later.
beat
Bye.
her
Thank you,
again?
everybody.
Birthday.
It's Kamala's birthday?
She's turning
60 years old?
And he actually put happy birthday to Kamala Harris on his social media page on True Social. Happy 60th birthday day. So they did actually post a happy birthday pitch or post to Kamala. Kamala Harris probably didn't accept it. She probably like, psh, but because she really, really doesn't like Donald Trump.
I never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will be put on.
Make it fact.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus.
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your
I
resume?
never worked here.
Why would she lie about something like that? Will be put on.
Make it fact.
He said now that he has worked at McDonald's. He has worked 15 minutes more than Kamala Harris. Okay, so he's serving people in the line.
He's a MAGA guy all the way.
Okay, so for his first order.
Where's the cat?
Well, that's a good looking view. Hello, everybody.
I want to see.
This is not a normal situation, is it?
I don't see a MAGA cat. Oh, he's got it. Right?
How did you
No.
produce those people? Oh, they look like what? They look like the what? How are you? Nice to meet you. That's all right. Thank you. Appreciate all Thank you. And there'll be no charge. Trump is paying for it. Is that okay? Okay, great. This is all on Trump. Oh, look. I'm allowed to do that, right? It's everything you said it would be. It better be. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself. You're the best. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time.
So yeah, so he showed up serving food to people, and people actually enjoyed it. They enjoyed interacting with Donald Trump.
Good looking guy.
So
So this is complimentary. Okay, all right. You go have a good time. Don't eat too much, right? Thank you, man. You take care. Thank you, honey. Have a good time. Thank you. Excuse me. Hello, everybody. I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Look at all the fake news over there. Hello, everybody.
And he's saying, look at all this fake news over there. So anyway, so Donald Trump, of course, he showed up, and he, of course, stole the spotlight. This is one thing I wanted to show. This is outside of the McDonald's, okay? This is the crowd outside the McDonald's. Look how many people are out there with their Trump signs. So yeah, you have people excited that he was there.
You made it possible for ordinary people like us to meet you.
You're not ordinary.
I mean, thank you so much
You
for
are not
everything you're
ordinary.
doing.
I can see.
We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
When you think about it, I guess that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Look at that.
Mr.
Look
President.
at that. How are you?
People were actually excited. I think Donald Trump is going to win by a landslide, and you could tell that this is a battleground state. This is a key state that it could go either way. We know that Donald Trump, he's on the campaign trail, and the media is trying to act like Donald Trump is like, oh, he's doing this political stunt, or I guess I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure what they're trying to act like, oh, he's weak. I guess he doesn't have enough stamina. That's what they're saying. But if you look at how many rallies, interviews, and just things that Donald Trump have been doing since August, since Kamala announced that she was running, 2-1. I think so far Kamala has done like 40 something news press or interviews or rallies versus Donald Trump. He's done like 83 or something rallies and meetings and town hall meetings and interviews. Like 2-1, he's literally running circles around Kamala Harris' campaign. But the mainstream media had to take a swipe at Donald Trump. They're saying President Trump worked a shift at McDonald's. Trump visit McDonald's as Harris speaks as the churchgoer swing states. This is not some of the stuff Donald Trump McDonald's shift, was it staged? Kamala Harris and McDonald's, a college job and a Trump attack. Trump slings McDonald's fries as he smears Harris in Pennsylvania. Trump thrusts McDonald's into political arena in the final days of campaign. And some people, Daily Beast, is what is the logic behind this? Watch the surreal footage of Trump working at McDonald's. See, this is why the mainstream media, they're so out of touch of reality. Hey, he's trying to reach the people. And we know Donald Trump, he loves McDonald's. He loves McDonald's. I guess one of the people that won the college football, was it college football or was it basketball? Anyway, they had a dinner at the White House, and instead of like dinner frou-frou, then he ordered McDonald's. That's what he ordered because he loves McDonald's, and we know that. And there's some other negative items out here in regards to Trump actually being genuine and reaching the people, and people loved it. People ate it up. So no matter what the mainstream media says, this is what the people are saying. And we can't listen to the mainstream media because there's some crazy people. Now, I ran across this before I get to my Lord Trump story. I want to share this with you. Let me just refresh this. They're saying Kamala Harris, JD Vance says it's weird.
My career has varied throughout the
VP Harris won't prove McDonald's employment, rips media's lack of curiosity. And this is what I think it's not really a news story, but we have to realize that once the mainstream media gets on the attack like Donald Trump, they tend to hold back from Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris can't do any wrong. When she lies, blatantly lies, Candace Owens been covering Kamala Harris' heritage, and she blatantly lied about her grandmother. She put a fake picture of her grandmother in her book that she published. And the mainstream media has not picked up this story. She plucked a black woman off the plantation and said, "This is my grandmama." This is why we can't trust, number one, the media or Kamala Harris, because if you just like randomly, what kind of sick person are you? You just randomly pick a black person saying, "Oh, I'm trying to get the black vote, so I'm going to put this black woman in my picture saying this is my Meemaw." You guys don't see a problem with that? This is a huge problem. Now, this is J.D. Vance talking about Kamala Harris and Donald Trump being at McDonald's.
In the news cycle. And I would say President Trump certainly won.
You guys put it in chat. I want to make sure you could hear this.
On it yesterday, and that continues today, because this trip to McDonald's was creative, it was fun, and it's gotten a ton of views, not just on television, but all over social media. There is another way to look at it, though, and this comes from some of the mainstream media headlines, sir. Rolling Stone, Trump makes fries at McDonald's in bizarre attempt to troll Harris. Washington Post, that Trump serves McDonald's fries to supporters in a stage-managed campaign stop. And NBC News says Trump attempts to troll Harris by serving fries at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. That last one's not so bad, but a stage-managed campaign stop. What do you make of that?
Well, you know, I actually went to a sports bar outside of Lambeau Field yesterday before the Packers game. Of course, the Packers won. And, you know, I was pouring some beers for people there at the bar, and I felt pretty good about myself. And then I saw these news headlines about Donald Trump at McDonald's. Yeah. And I called him. I said, "Sir, you showed me up here because I was serving beers, you were serving fries." And I think that he really did win the news day. And the fact that these people are accusing him of a stage-managed thing, of course, the president has to have security because there have been 2 attempts on his life in the last 8 weeks. He can't just walk into a McDonald's and you know, sign a W-9 and actually go on the payroll. That's just not how this works, especially given the security threats on his life. But look, he was interacting with people. He was talking to the employees. He was giving people food, and he was just being, I think, what he does best, which is just being among the people, talking to them about what they care about. He showed, I think, genuine interest in the employees and their lives and where they came from and what they were actually doing in their job. And that's something you can't stage and you can't fake. That is just the genuine person that Donald Trump is. And it's why I think a lot of working people, even though, of course, he's a successful real estate billionaire, have this emotional connection to Donald Trump. You can't make up that kind of connection. Unfortunately, Kamala Harris has tried and failed. And I think it's why her campaign is flailing a little bit right now, is because, you know, she goes into Sheets and does 4 takes of her buying Doritos. Donald Trump just goes into McDonald's and he is who he is, and people love him.
What is your campaign's position, or even your position? Did she work at McDonald's as a student in college, or was she lying?
I don't know if there's a campaign position on it. What I find, and I've spoken to Donald Trump about this, what we find weird about this is that Kamala Harris has been able to produce no evidence that she worked at McDonald's, and she didn't even talk about it until 2019 during, I believe, her first run for the United States Senate. So I don't know what's ultimately true here, but it's interesting where the media will try to nitpick and micromanage every single thing that me or Donald Trump has said, and yet they just buy into this narrative from Kamala Harris that she invented 5-6 years ago. Why don't they just do some journalism? Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, but I know I don't trust the media's lack of curiosity about this issue when they're so curious and nitpicking everything else that the Republican candidates do.
There was a sea change last week that we noticed. It was towards the end of the week in 2 of the battleground states, in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. The 2 senators there, the Democrats, who are the incumbents, they are in tough races. Bob Casey, Tammy Baldwin. All of a sudden, they had somebody new in their ads. Watch here.
Casey bucked Biden to protect fracking, and he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating.
Tammy Baldwin got President Trump to sign her Made in America bill.
So now they're trying to be closer to Trump, but here's some stats. This is from the last congressional cycle.
Look, they're trying to be closer to Trump. Actually, Bob Casey has a video out saying, let me make sure I off mute. Yeah, Bob Casey has a video out saying, "Oh, I disagreed with Biden on these points, even though he's voted in line with Joe Biden 98% of the time. And I agree with Donald Trump on these bills. It's like, okay, you're trying to move closer to Donald Trump even. And then he says he's an independent and clearly he's a Democrat. This is Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, by the way. Bob Casey in Pennsylvania has an article, an ad out. I'm going to try to find it saying that he's an independent. No, you're a Democrat. This is how nervous Democrats are. They are so nervous. They're reaching. Oh, and Bob Casey, all he's trying to do is keep his job.
Casey voted with Biden 98.5% of the time and Baldwin 95.5% of the time. So are they seeing some writing on the wall that they need to figure out a way to get away from Biden-Harris?
Yeah, Dana, let me say two things about this. First of all, what Bob Casey is saying is just not true. I've served with Bob Casey. He has been a down-the-line partisan Democrat during his entire time. He didn't actually defend Pennsylvania manufacturers, which is why I think Dave McCormick is ultimately going to win that race. But the politics of this are fascinating because you notice Dave McCormick and Eric Hovde, they're not running ads about how much they agree with Kamala Harris. It's the Democratic candidates who are running ads about how much they agree with Donald Trump. I think it suggests that what we've seen in our polling for weeks, what I think Kamala Harris has seen in her polling for weeks, is that Kamala Harris's policies just aren't popular. So people are trying to run away from it as much as they possibly can. This is a person, Kamala Harris, who cast the deciding vote on trillions of dollars in new spending, who signed on to the open border policies of the last 3.5 years. Now she's trying to run as a change agent. Kamala Harris is more of the same. She governed that way. We will get even more of the bad policies of the last 3.5 years if we promote her to president. It's why I think the American people are going to make Donald Trump the president of the United States in just 2 short weeks.
I was following a couple of interviews over the weekend and also throughout the past week. He keeps coming back. He's asked about these enemies within comments. And I've read all of it. I've listened to all of it. It's hard for me to know what he really means about it. But that's not my question. My question is, why is it necessary?
Well, Bill, first of all, Donald Trump is unfiltered. I think this is one of the reasons why the campaign has gone well is because he's not doing a basement campaign strategy. He's not just running on slogans. When people ask him questions, he speaks from the heart. And sometimes that means he's going to talk about issues that the mainstream media isn't focused on. But I think Americans are asking themselves, when we had these terrible riots in the summer of 2020,
not to cut off J.D. Vance. Look, not to cut off J.D. Vance, but we have to be frank and admit we do have an enemy within. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are enemies of American citizens. Their policies had adverse effect on American people. Let's just face the facts. Call a spade a spade. They are the enemy within. So what the hell this is not just because you use the word enemy, that is not a bad talking point. We do have an enemy within. He's not using a threat to democracy, which he should. Donald Trump should totally start using a threat to democracy on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because that's what they are. They are the enemy within. That means we have a person that's conducting and running the United States of America that their policies is not favorable to the American people. That's what enemy within means. And then all these other bureaucrats and I guess you want to call the deep state people. Even on the Republican side, we need to admit that even on the Republican side, these are the enemy within. What is so bad about that? Yet we trying to act like Donald Trump is like, oh my God, he said it. It's an atrocity. It can't be. He's just used these words that's so bad. No, it's just the truth. It's the truth. You're not supposed to be nice about having the enemy attack your own people. This is the problem. This is a real problem. We're trying to be all nice. Oh, he's not the enemy within. No, he is. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are the enemy within. And whoever vote for those same type of policies are the enemy within. if they believe in open border policy, you are an enemy. You're an enemy to your own country. He posing the question like Donald Trump is just pulling shit out of his ass. This is not, dude, they already proven to us. Even with the FEMA, if we're talking about FEMA, the mainstream media have you believe even FEMA is lying through your damn teeth. If FEMA is actually giving people money or actually relieving people, actually doing search and rescues, actually they supposed to be far beyond the search and rescues. They supposed to be giving people aid. They're still doing search and rescue because video after video, thank God for social media, video after video, you have people online saying, yeah, I was trying to help such and such out. We had a crew out and FEMA told us we had to pack up and leave. This is FEMA. Okay, these people need generators or whatever, or water, or need to be rescued. FEMA is stopping people for even helping people. This is insane. And what's his name? Mayorkas actually got online and said, hey, we don't have enough money because we allocated those dollars for illegal immigrants. So we don't have enough money to last us out through this hurricane season. The money is spent. And the mainstream media came back and told us, no, this is a lie. And you had your own president get online and made a press conference saying, we have $750 for these people. And everybody's like, $750, but you gave Ukraine $150 billion. And the mainstream media came back and said, oh no, that's not what they said. Like we're the crazy people. These are the enemy within. I'm sorry I'm raising my voice, you guys, but this shit is starting to be a little bit ridiculous. It's starting to be a little bit on the ridiculous side. Like we're the crazy people. We just heard, you could go back. It's on the internet. You could go back and Kamala Harris said verbatim, we are offering people $750. She said that verbatim in a news conference. And so everybody else is crazy. Mayorkas gave a big speech, called in or to whatever news channel and said we don't have enough money because we spent $1.4 billion on illegal immigrants. We don't have enough money in the FEMA fund. So we crazy. These are the enemy within, you guys. The very same people that's creating these laws or creating these policies to take care of some random person outside than their own people. That's the enemy within. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm not going to view. If you guys want to view this whole video, you can. And it's really, I'm glad Donald Trump did a good job. I know they was giving him a bunch of slack when he picked J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is a perfect person to combat the media. He knows what to say without being belligerent. But if I was him, I'd be tired of trying to explain myself to these stupid ass people. Right now, he's the right person for the job. He knows how to articulate without saying, you stupid MFer. Did we just see this on the news? Like what? And then they try to act like we're the crazy people. I commend, he did an excellent choice with J.D. Vance. And I hope J.D. Vance runs in 2028. I know Donald Trump is going to win by a landslide. Before I get to Lord Trump's story, Donald Trump is going to win by a landslide because just off of these polling numbers, usually polling numbers are not good for Donald Trump. It underestimate Donald Trump's numbers. Only because I guess, the pollers don't really know how to poll I guess you want to call them MAGA supporters or Republicans. So they don't really get accurate polling numbers. But we could say Donald Trump. We have 15 days before the election, and Donald Trump is going to win by a landslide. Now, this is was based off of October 16th. That's like, what, 4 or 5 days ago. Look at this. And I just heard a news station saying, and I guess we just watched it together. The lady was saying, yeah, he's up in Michigan by 3 points. These are Donald Trump numbers. Harris has Wisconsin on the 16th. Harris, she's up by 0.3 points. Now, of course, there's a margin of error, but if Donald Trump is doing this good in the polling, he's going to demolish Kamala Harris. He's going to win by a landslide. He's going to mop the floor with Kamala Harris. It's going to be embarrassing. Kamala Harris is going to cry. The election results is going to be too big to rig. I hate to say a slogan, but literally it's going to be too big to rig, because right now you have Kamala Harris campaign trying to grasp for straws. Oh, maybe we'll go to the black church, or maybe we'll campaign with these people, and then we assault the Christians, then we insult and then we go out to the black men, and then we're gonna pull up on the people, the feminist people. You just don't know. Instead of just being genuine, you just don't even know, because you're not in touch with the American people. You don't know what the American people want. You think giving a $6,000 tax credit for first-time home babies, then you say, oh, have an abortion, and then give a $6,000 tax credit. Your people don't even like having babies. That's your base. Why even pull that up? And who's going to pay for it? Of course, the middle-class tax people, we're going to pay for that. And then you we want to get the small business owner people. You never own a small business. That's why that plan is going to fail, because you don't know what it is to own a small business. You work for the government all your life. You don't know. You don't know what it is to actually work for your money. You don't know what that is. You don't know, if I don't make this damn sale, I might not be able to pay this light bill this month. You don't know nothing about it. You don't know, if I don't clock in on time, I'm not going to get 8 hours out of the day. My boss is going to dock me, and I'm going to get an occurrence. You don't know nothing about that. You don't know what it is that American people face on the day-to-day, Kamala. And people, don't get in the chat. Donald Trump don't know. Donald Trump, at least he knows what it is to have a business. He know what it is. Hey, if I don't make sales, we ain't gonna have no money. He knows that. Anyway, I'm tired of preaching. Let's go to this is our last video. This is Laura Trump on the Breakfast Club. She had to school what's his name? Charlemagne the fraud. Charlemagne the fraud. I don't know why Charlemagne wants to get into politics. I guess because you got a platform and, a lot of people follow you, but you should be like neutral in your questions. And we know you're voting for Kamala. We know that. We clearly see that. And it's an uninformed vote. you know, is going to benefit you, of course, because you're a millionaire. But it's not going to benefit any other people. So stop trying to act like you know what we talking about, or you know how we feel. Stop doing that. You and your political commentator, Angela Rye, stop trying to act like you know what it is to be a normal person. You don't. This is Lord Trump. At this point of the interview, I started at 7 minutes in. Reason why I started off at this part, this is when, your boy Charlemagne the Fraud started talking stupid. You guys put it in chat. I want to make sure you could. I want to make sure you could hear this video. Put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's why Chuck was laughing so hard. Remember we asked why Chuck was laughing so hard? Chuck was laughing, boy.
I don't be liking the optics of that. Only reason I say I don't like the optics of that is because
let me slow it down.
Like Chuck Schumer say things like Trump is a threat to democracy, but then you're sitting next to him yucking it up. Why would you be yucking it up with somebody who you consider a threat to democracy?
Well, you have to ask yourself that question, don't you? Maybe it's all scare tactics. Maybe it's a lot of fear mongering. Charlemagne. What I can tell you is I know Donald Trump. I have known him for 16 years, and Chuck Schumer's known him a lot longer than I have, and I think he knows full well he's not a threat to democracy. And you don't even have to take my word for it. Look at what he did when he was in the White House. Like, there was never any threat to democracy when he was in the White House.
Well, there was an attempted coup of the country.
Well, that you can argue that a lot of different ways. Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard is not an attempted coup. What was a coup was when they replaced Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, who was not elected by anyone to run for president. There are 14 million people who voted for Joe Biden to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. And if you want to talk about a real threat to democracy, I would argue that.
That wasn't a coup.
But Laura, did anyone die when that happened, though?
Well, no, not even that.
Well,
she was vice president. So
the only person who died was a woman who was there actually very supportive of Donald Trump on that day.
That's still a life loss. I'm just saying
it's terrible.
The comparison is a bit
We could go down the
drastic.
line of
a threat to democracy is these damn BLM riots. So shut up. Both of them sounds. Didn't somebody die? Did somebody die during the BLM riots? Hello? People died.
people dying in a lot of different circumstances, and I would argue that list could get very long for the Democrats as well. But
she was vice president. She was on the ballot. People did vote for her. The delegates did vote for her at the DNC.
But would you, as I'm going to assume a Democrat?
Now you're just being ignorant. What they're posing is she Lord Trump said, hey, a real threat to democracy because you guys didn't even vote for Kamala during the primary. And he said she was on the ballot. No, the F she wasn't. Joe Biden was on the ballot. If Joe Biden, clearly he won the primaries, he didn't have to re-elect Kamala Harris. He could have said, no, Kamala, you're fired. Let me get somebody else that I think that would do the job better. He didn't have to bring her on. Joe Biden was on the ballot. So now you're playing stupid. I'm going to stop interrupting. I'm going to let them talk. But this is why I say stay out of politics. Y'all sound really ridiculous right now.
Democrat voter for a long time.
Unaffiliated
voter.
Yes.
If you were a Democrat, maybe a Democrat here, would you guys, if you had the option to vote for someone other than Joe Biden to be the representative for you on the Democrat ticket, have chosen Kamala Harris to be that person?
Yes. I would have chosen Kamala Harris.
Really? Interesting.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, I was a person that was calling for Joe Biden to step down for a very long time. And I think that there's, when Joe Biden made a statement last year, he said there's about 50 of us that could beat Donald Trump. I was like, well, line them all up then. And I definitely had her as.
So I'm here to check out Keith. He's interested in setting up his LLC for his business. I'm going to show him. Taylor.
One of the people.
They have to say I would have voted for Kamala Harris because she's the person now. She's the person. And they, work for probably a liberal media company, iHeartRadio. So, and I believe Charlemagne has stake in our iHeartRadio. But you have to say these things because it's Kamala Harris. She's your leader.
even though she dropped out whenever she ran the first time before her home state voted, before Iowa, and she was polling solo, you still would have given her the shot. And I mean, if you think back to Kamala Harris, when Joe Biden, before he got pushed out of this position, before he really kind of took it up a notch with this campaign, people were saying Kamala Harris is the insurance policy for Joe Biden because she really is not doing a great job as vice president. I mean, she got, her.
Well, I'm a person who voted. I voted for that ticket because of her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. Well, we've got it.
Lord Trump, don't try to understand that. That's how stupid black folks are. A lot of people voted for the Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ticket. One, because they really hated Trump, and two, because Kamala Harris was so-called black. Come to find out, she's neither. She's not black, and she's not a good running mate.
Ticket coming up very soon and a vote very soon. It's early voting in a lot of places right now. But to answer your question, I know we kind of got sidetracked, but in politics, none of us in the family had obviously any experience in politics, but I had heard my father-in-law a lot, very upset about what he felt was wasteful. He felt like we weren't focused on America, that we were sending jobs overseas, businesses overseas, that the federal government was bloated and overspending. And he said, this isn't right. This isn't the America that I grew up in and that I think we should, have as a great future for this country. And if you go back to an Oprah interview he did, I believe in the 80s, she asked him, would you ever run for president? And he said, only if things got so bad I felt I had no other choice. And I feel like he thought the country really was on a bad path and he wanted to help bring it back. And so right before his famous golden escalator ride, we actually all sat down as a family. And I'll never forget this because it was one of those moments where looking back, I say, gosh, he really had such good insight into what was about to happen. We all sat down as a family for dinner and he talked us through, I want to do this. This is definitely something that is real. But if I do this the right way, if I do what is needed and I call the people out who need to be called out and expose the things that need to be exposed, they're going to come after us. And it's not just me. It's the whole family. And I think you guys need to really appreciate that. And I need you to understand that and make sure everybody feels good about it. And of course we were like, well, yeah, like how bad could it be? But the foresight he had into what we've seen happen to this man, and I don't think anyone can argue if his name wasn't Donald Trump and he had never run for politics. I mean, you would never have seen any of the crazy things happen to him that have. So that was sort of where we all kind of got our intro into politics. I didn't become part of things really until I flew down to North Carolina in August of 2016 for a rally with my father-in-law to my hometown in Wilmington. And one thing led to another, and he told me that I was going to be responsible for winning him my home state of North Carolina in the 2016 election. And as a person who had no idea what I was doing in politics, I said, I better learn pretty quickly and get to work. And so that's what I did.
I wonder what he learned from the first time he ran.
Hold on, so I just want to know, at that dinner, did y'all say, you know what, well, let's put all our dirt on the table right now because you know they're going to be coming at you. You know, press is going to try anything that you guys have ever done. If you guys have stolen a Snicker bar from a store, they're going to come at that. Was that the dinner where you said, well, let's put everything on the table so we know what they're going to be attacking, or that never happened?
I'll be really honest. We really didn't have a lot to put on that table. And if you think that I'm lying, you really believe that anybody in the Trump family with the Trump last name wouldn't have had any and everything exposed by now? No, I mean, I think we naively thought, look, if you have good intentions and you do the right things and you're a good person, then, if Donald Trump became president, I think we all thought after he won in 2016, oh, well, then all the craziness will stop. Everybody will rally behind the person who's president of the United States because we should all want our president to be successful. That is success for America. And obviously, we were very wrong about that.
Well, what is he? Well, two things. Well, I want to go back to one thing first. I wonder what he learned from his 2000 campaign.
2016 campaign?
Well, he ran in 2000 too, officially.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't actually talked to him about that.
Yeah,
that's a good question. I mean,
I just brought that up because you said that you talked about the vice president's campaign in 2020. Sometimes campaigns aren't successful. Joe Biden ran a bunch of times before he actually won.
He sure did.
Trump ran before he actually won. That's why I brought that up.
Well, I don't know if he officially
2000.
ran.
In 2000, he did.
If he did, it didn't go very far from my memory. I don't know that there was any official announcement as far as I know. But look, I think he felt the right time was 2016. I think he looked at.
What is Charlamagne talking about? Is he saying Donald Trump ran in 2000? I don't remember that. I don't. You guys put in the chat. I don't remember Donald Trump running in 2000. That's when Barack ran. I thought Hillary tried to run, right? I think Joe Biden was running. Joe Biden ran a lot of times, but I'm not for sure what he's talking about.
What was going on. And this is a businessman. And I think a lot of what he did that was very beneficial to this country has to do with businesses, with the economy, with jobs. Those were things that were really important to him. And you hear him talk about it now. He recently was talking about tariffs and how he wants to apply tariffs to countries who are, it's really awful to see how so many jobs, factories have gone overseas. Mm-hmm. We want to see made in the USA on more. And you saw that happening when he was in the White House. You saw more people employed in this country than we've ever had employed in the history of America. You had more money in your pocket. You had inflation at 1.9%. It was a very different feeling when he was in the White House. And I think that's why you're seeing such great support for this man. You don't have to love everything he says. You don't have to love everything he posts on X or Truth Social or whatever. But you do have to be honest that your life probably felt a lot better with Donald Trump in the White House. And I think that that's one of the reasons that he's working so hard, because he knows he can do the job. He did it one time before.
Question: why are tariffs considered good business when we know that it's going to cause the cost of typical American household items to go up significantly?
Well, he explained
like a bunch of economists say that it'll cost the average American $2,600 extra a year.
I think that he explained this the other day when he was sitting down with, I believe it was Bloomberg, that, look, the reality is that it's going to force people to bring their companies back to the United States. And he really believes that.
But it's going to hurt a lot of American citizens in the process of that, because it's not like these companies are going to turn up and
I don't
change
think
over,
so.
come back overnight.
Well, let's talk. I mean, if you want to talk about hurting American citizens, the first thing that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did, their first executive order in the White House, shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline. That was something that gave us our energy independence. It was so bad for America. That drove up gas prices, that caused inflation to continue to go sky high. It enriched our adversaries like Russia and Iran, because now they were supplying oil for the rest of the world instead of the United States. It put us in such a weakened state. So, we want to drill, baby, drill. That's what Donald Trump always says. We have so much liquid gold.
Biden has drilled more than Trump.
Underneath.
This is where Charlamagne just sounds so ignorant, okay? And they're saying, oh, it's gonna be this. Even the girl, I don't know what her name is. She's filling in with the mess. Stop talking, girl. Whatever your name is, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not gonna be an instantaneous fix, okay? It wasn't instantaneous when they started shipping these companies overseas and incentivizing, basically not penalizing companies to set up a company in China and all these other countries, and we're importing. And you think that was an overnight thing? No, it happened over time. For the last 20 years, we just been shooting ourselves in the foot. We are beholden to China. And I wish Laura, she doesn't mention this. Donald Trump tariffs is his strategy. If we build it here, we're going to tariff there. So if you're trying to import things that we build here, we're going to add 100% tariffs. Now, if you're a consumer, you want to pay the extra tariffs, that's on you. But if it's here, you should buy it here. So we're trying to incentivize people for buying our stuff here, number one. And number two, incentivize companies, okay, we need to start thinking about how we could move our company back to the U.S., our manufacturing company back to the U.S. It's not an overnight thing. It takes over time. It's an overtime thing. It took us 20, 30 years to get here. It'll probably take us 20 to 30 years to get it back. Let's face the facts. But we're so independent or dependent on other countries. It's kind of ridiculous. And now we're starting to starve because these people are in radio. They don't know what it is. Hey, I have to clock in somewhere. I'm on the line building a part. They don't know nothing about manufacturing. So all the stuff they're talking about is kind of almost ignorant comments because they don't know the ins and outs of it, you know. And then now he's talking about the Keystone Pipeline. Okay. Remember, I talked about the Keystone Pipeline. And then he mentioned that Joe Biden drilled more than Donald Trump. Doesn't make any sense. So he's never heard of the Green New Deal. It doesn't make any sense. So I think like Joe, what was his name? Charlemagne, the fraud, is really ignorant to the fact. Then he says, look it up.
Well, why did he shut down the Keystone XL pipeline?
I have no idea, but Biden has drilled more than Trump.
Strategic petroleum reserves, which are actually supposed to be used for emergency situations, for war times. The things
but has Biden drilled more than Trump?
I don't believe that's true.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Where?
You can look it up. He's drilled more than Trump.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true at all. And
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump was obviously a proponent of being energy independent and energy dominant as a country. And we are not right now. And that puts us in a very weakened state. And you would not have seen the issue in the Middle East right now. And you likely wouldn't have seen the issue with Russia and Ukraine had those countries, had Iran not had the funding and the money coming in from the oil, had Russia not had the funding and the money coming in from the oil. It's a terrible thing to see. And so, you know, I think that you can look at a lot of things and second guess them with Donald Trump and say, well, what about this? What about that? Think about how it felt. Think about how much more money you had in your pocket. Think about so many people were finally able to go on a vacation for the first time when he was in the White House. And those are real tangible things. And right now, life is very hard for so many people in this country. You know, I travel all over the place and I constantly am in airports and restaurants, and I constantly am approached by people who say, I cannot afford not to vote for Donald Trump. And I think they really mean that. And whether you look at our southern border, the influx of people who've come in this country, it's detrimental to so many aspects of our society. It's something that we've spent so much money on here in New York, $12 billion over 3 years. It's costing the city of New York to house illegal immigrants. And so I think whenever push comes to shove and we're looking at this election right now, there's so many people might not love everything Donald Trump's ever said, but they certainly want to go vote for him because they want their life back. They want more money in their pocket and they want a safer community and they want peace agreements.
There's a lot of people that say that, you know.
Hold on real quick. I do want to just note that inflation is down, though.
It's coming down.
It's like the 2.5%.
It's coming
just
down,
that the
but
prices
it's not
are still
down.
so elevated.
But wage growth has not kept up with the rise in inflation, and it's causing people to really hurt around this country. They really can't make their basic ends meet right now.
I mean, inflations are down, but the prices are up. I mean, whose fault is that? That's more so the corporations than it is government.
Prices are, say that again?
Inflation is down, but the prices are up.
Inflation is not down nearly enough. You can
2.5%.
You can bring inflation down significantly, and I think if we had an energy independent country, it would really help.
Is that 2.5%?
Yeah.
I was going to ask, you know, a lot of people feel that Trump is racist. And what do you say to that? You know, in 73, of course, it was when he got sued for not renting to African Americans. And 89, when he took out the ad in the paper. And I mean, even saying Obama wasn't born here and show his birth certificate. And there's numerous things. So what do you say to that?
Well, I think that's ridiculous. I've known this man for 16 years. And, you know, you can go to each of those incidents and, you know, there was never any proof of anything with the houses that you're talking about.
He settled out for that, though, right?
Yeah, they settled that. And there was no admission of anything there. You know, Central Park 5, there were so many people. You had a Democrat, DA who prosecuted the guys, and they admitted to it. There were a lot of people in New York
they were
at that time.
exonerated and freed, and there was never an apology, never sorry, never a my
bad.
bad.
Say, you have to look at somebody.
Shut up. He doesn't need to apologize for something he did when he was not in office. Why would he apologize for that? Everybody else thought he was guilty too. Like she mentioned, he was prosecuted and convicted by Democrats, okay? Democrats prosecuted him and convicted him. Why would he need to apologize that everybody thought that they were guilty? Oh, I'm sorry for posting that ad. No, I'm not sorry, because I thought you was guilty at the time, because that's what the public, the prosecuting attorney was saying, that you was guilty. They said you admitted to this crime. So how's that being racist? Charlemagne and DJ Envy know Donald Trump is not racist. They're from New York. They know Donald Trump is not racist. They just want to put that out there.
And what they actually have done. And Donald Trump really was very beneficial to the black community when he was in the White House. I will say I've never seen this man say a racist thing. I think the attacks are fairly... Why is that funny, Charlemagne?
I'm just laughing. It's hysterical. But I mean,
but no, Charlemagne,
because people act
listen.
like there's no such thing as Google, or we don't have TV, we don't have
what
radio.
is it that you think that's... that he said?
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists.
This morning, a bitter backlash after President Trump referred to Haiti and African nations as S-hole countries during a meeting on immigration Thursday.
This remark by the president.
Why, like I said, when Donald Trump was using the word enemy within, they're not sending their best. They're not, though. Just because they're a color that other than white, they're not sending their best. They sending criminals over here. What's wrong with that? How's that racist? Because he mentioned, hey, you sending these people over here that got drug convictions, and they bringing over drugs, and they're rapists and murderers and stuff like that. Why is that being racist? He's stating the obvious.
Of the United States smacks of blatant racism.
Here's what I'll say. You know, this is a man who, as I said in the beginning,
Lord, I don't know why Laura is even wasting her time. They're not going to accept any answer you say. They don't accept it from black people. They're definitely not going to accept it from a white person. They're not going to accept it. So you just wasting your time.
Was beloved by so many people in this country, and he was friends with everybody.
A lot of celebrities.
Jesse Jackson, by the way,
Please
his Rainbow
don't do
Coalition.
That. He had black friends. That's not going to work.
No. He let them stay rent free in one of his buildings.
And she needs to shut the hell up.
Rainbow Coalition, because he felt like at the time that was a very important thing. You can go pick apart somebody all you want. It is a traditional talking point to attack Republicans, to call them racist. But when you look at the things that he wants for this country, he wants every person to be successful. He wants Black Americans to be successful, Hispanic Americans to be successful, women to be successful. And he worked that way when he was in the White House. And whether you want to talk about actually funding in perpetuity historically Black colleges and universities, whether you want to talk about the First Step Act that allowed 30,000 nonviolent felons to be released from prison, who the 1994 crime bill actually put in prison. These are things that really have, I feel like, spoken to a lot of people, but more so than anything, the economy right now is such that I don't care who you are. It is hurting you, and it is something that he wants to fix. He wants every American to have their shot at the American dream. And, you know, I hate that that is the constant knee jerk is Donald Trump is a racist, Donald Trump is a racist. I can tell you he wants every person to be successful. He'll work for every American equally. He did that the first term when he was president, and he'll do it again.
How do you ask Mexicans and Muslims to ignore a lot of the rhetoric, Haitians to ignore a lot of the rhetoric that he said about them that is dangerous, that has villainized them, that has demonized them?
Well, I would say anyone who's coming to this country
Donald Trump actually, like I said, what's his name? Charlemagne is not informed right now. Donald Trump has a video. He was in Detroit, I think it was Thursday, right? And the Muslim community, actually they have a Muslim or Arabic, I don't know if the guy's Muslim, but he's Arabic. An Arabic mayor in Hamtramck, okay? They have endorsed Trump. So maybe Haitians may not vote for Trump, but we starting to see the Muslim community vote for Trump. We're starting to see Latinos vote for Trump. They're turning the page because now they're really starting to open up and realize, okay, the rhetoric from the mainstream media is not true. And they're getting out of their feelings and they're starting to listen to, okay, what is Donald Trump actually saying to me? Does his policy work for me and my family?
Illegally, he's very against, and every American should be very against. If you're an American citizen, Donald Trump doesn't care your religion. He doesn't care what you look like. He will work for you, and he wants to make this country safe for you. We should all want a secure southern border. A lot of the comments get misconstrued that he says about people coming here illegally. They're breaking our federal law to come here illegally, and that should be upsetting to everyone.
When you make these broad generalizations, you do hurt the Haitian Americans that are here, the Mexican Americans that are here. They all get labeled and villainized and demonized.
Yeah, but you know what? I think people are finally seeing through that. It's very easy to clip up something like that and say, like, oh, let's push this out here. When he's referencing these things, he's talking about people who are illegally in our country. He doesn't want us to have 350 people on the terror watch list here. There's a guy who was arrested the other day, an ISIS member who was arrested the other day, who had planned a November 5th election day attack on American citizens. ISIS was eradicated under Donald Trump. We did not even talk about it anymore. He got into the White House and he talked to his top military brass and he said, okay, you guys tell me, how long is it going to take to deal with ISIS? Because ISIS was a big threat. People were constantly talking about it, worried about terror attacks. And they said, sir, it's going to take us a couple years maybe. You know, we have to call the White House every time we want to have some big operation. And he said, how about this? You guys just go do whatever it is you need to do. You don't need to call me. You guys are the experts. I'm not a military expert. You take care of it and let's see what happens. 4 weeks, ISIS was gone. The fact that we're talking about ISIS back in the here in the United States of America, an ISIS member should terrify everybody. The open border has been a disaster. So yeah, he's upset about it. And yes, he says things about people coming here illegally, and rightly so. And you and I, as American citizens, should be the ones absolutely.
Go to motionready.com to add this to your video and that and that.
Infuriated that this has been allowed to happen.
I agree with you. The border is a disaster. I feel like the border is a bipartisan issue, though, because the border has been terrible under multiple administrations.
Well, we had the lowest border crossings when Donald Trump was in the White House that we've ever had.
Yes, but I still feel like it's going to take some bipartisan legislation, to actually fix things at the border. You can't do executive orders. You can't do that. So how come they can't come to terms on that? And why did Donald Trump shoot down what they said was one of the most comprehensive bipartisan border bills that
If you actually
they ever
read,
created?
if you actually read what was in there, there was like $60 billion for Ukraine. There were so many issues with that. It would allow 1.8 million illegal immigrants into our country a year. I mean, it was nonsense, honestly, Charlemagne. And we should all want a secure southern border. That's why Donald Trump built over 500 miles of border wall when he was in office. And, I went down to the border wall and I saw it with my own eyes. I went down to Yuma, Arizona about a month ago. And to talk to the people in those communities, look, they say now every state is a border state because of this. The people who live in Yuma, Arizona are being so negatively impacted. If you're a pregnant woman in Yuma, Arizona, they kind of say, you may not want to plan to have a baby in our hospitals here because they're so overrun taking care of people who cross the border. It's dangerous. They say a third of women are sexually assaulted. The people there told me it's probably closer to 50% who come up over the southern border. So it's terrible for them. But because of them having to take care of all the illegal migrants coming over, you can't even be assured you're going to have a place to deliver a baby in Yuma, Arizona. They say you're going to have to drive either 2 hours to San Diego or 3 hours north to Phoenix. And so having gone and seen it with my own eyes, I'll tell you the most infuriating part to me. You have this border wall that Donald Trump built, and then laying down on the ground where you have a wide open section are pieces of the border wall that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because they campaigned and said, we will not build another foot of Donald Trump's border wall, it's laying on the ground. And there are people who come right through there. They could stand it up right now if they wanted to, but they won't do it. That is very frustrating, I think, to see right now that we paid for that. It's right there ready to go. And if they're not leaving it on the ground, then they're selling it for, pennies on the dollar.
If the bipartisan border bill was so bad, like you say, how come so many Republicans were for it until Donald Trump intervened?
It wasn't a lot of Republicans for it.
I don't think Donald Trump intervened at all. He's not in an elected office right now, and
he literally told them not to do it.
That I don't think that's true. But I also no. Well, ask Donald Trump yourself. He will tell you.
That's a good question. I wonder for you, how tough is it having the last name Trump? Because you are
so I'm not going to view the rest of the video, but as far as the bipartisan border bill, they already revealed it wasn't bipartisan. It was only 2 Republicans that helped wrote the bill. It didn't pass that committee part. It didn't even get to the bipartisan, I guess you want to call it, part per se. No Republicans agreed on that. It was just the 2 that was in the committee that wrote up the bill. You have more than 2 Republicans in the House. So that bipartisan, they need to stop using that word. It wasn't bipartisan. Okay. They just drew up a bunch of crap and threw a whole bunch of other stuff in there, and they tried to pass over 1.8 million illegals coming in. That's really ridiculous. And then another thing that's ridiculous is the money that they were trying to send to Ukraine and Israel. I think Israel has some money going into there. So it wasn't comprehensive border bill. It was a comprehensive slush fund, if you really think about it. Okay, so that was it, you guys. You guys put it in the chat. Let me get to some of your comments. I love my ad block. Lesser charge in Charlamagne's nickname for confessing of having his way with the young girl under the influence. Yeah, I hear that. I haven't got into that, but I heard about that years ago with Charlamagne. Trina, many legal Haitians they want closed borders for safety, they say. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if they're legal immigrants, I'm pretty sure they didn't come all the way over here to get their citizenship, to have their citizenship threatened or their lives threatened. They don't want everybody coming over here. And we can't just say all people are equal. Just because they came from Haiti, that don't mean they're crappy people. We just could say that, or even wherever country they came from. We could just say that they came over here legally and they don't want illegal people coming over here. Just like American citizens should think the same way. Haitians do use cats and voodoo animal sacrifice for good luck. I'm not for sure. He's lying. I do have a video on there about Haitian. Haitian was getting interviewed. His cousin was interviewing him, and he just got over here. The other Haitians been over here for years, and they were saying that they do eat cat. Some Haitians do eat cat. Justin is saying Charlamagne's people are watching this and are doing this on purpose. In my opinion, this is not the only channel that they do this to. What does Kamala have against Christ and Allah, etc.? I'm not for sure what Kamala's gripe with Jesus Christ. I'm not for sure. Kamala's given TPS status wasn't legal, most under the fraudulent reason most Haitians left Chile and Brazil. Okay. You know what? I did not know that. I did not know that. The only God comrade Kamala knows is the money and power. Yeah. You said we lost your stream twice. I'm sorry to hear that. It looks like it was going on. Yeah, they doing some hating. Maybe that was. They said my stream was suspended for violation. Probably just streaming Breakfast Club, but who cares? Anyway, I'll probably cut out parts of it and replay it, put it on a replay. So you guys, that was it. Thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow like I said, I'm trying to, as far as what's her name? Candace Owens. She has a couple of videos up. I want to just get out the parts that I'm going to use, and we're going to talk about Kamala Harris' heritage, and then we'll talk about whatever else is going on in the news. Okay. So I am sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.